They don't care about nutrition. They don't care about diets. They don't care about, how many sets and reps is optimal. They don't care about what exercises are going to get them. They don't care about any of that. What they care about is the results.
Welcome to the Fitpreneurs, the show that will help you flex your business muscles so you can make more money and live the life you really want. No more complaining, whining, or being a wimp. It's time to pump up your fitness business and push yourself beyond your comfort zone. So no girly man or lazy ladies allowed. It's time for me to do some push-ups and turn things over to my friends AJ Roberts and Simon Lovell. Hasta la vista.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Fitpreneurs. We're at episode number 11. It seems like we're cranking these out, Simon.
I don't think I could even go to 11 in French. Let's try A. I don't know why French is important.
It's not.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh no, that's the last
Deuce
one.
Or is it deuce?
I have no idea.
We need someone who's French on the show. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about accountability. Basically, how to get amazing results and keep your clients happy. It's a topic that me and Simon have been talking about recently quite a bit. We've seen some trends going on in the industry that we're kind of concerned about, and we want to just discuss that and kind of get into this. And so before we do that, though, we always like to catch up. We don't get to talk much. And we actually use this podcast as an excuse to just catch up with each other. And you guys happen to get to listen in. And the life, I think, Simon, you post on Facebook like the life of Lovell or something like that. So it's
Lovell life. That's my little thing I do before I put like a motivational quote from myself. I just put in brackets Lovell life. I know you could do something like AJ.
You got nothing. You got nothing.
AJ.
So, hey, what's been going on with you? It seems like the weather is warm over there in the UK right now.
Actually, I've got my top off. The sun is beaming through the window. I may even drop my shorts down to my underpants. It's so hot. But no. Do you know you know about this, but I just want to discuss exactly what happened. But Dean Jackson, one of the most awesome marketers in the world, happened to be in Bristol, which is about 30 minutes from me, and he kind of updated his status saying he's in Bristol, and I jumped on the opportunity and just kind of messaged him and hung out with him for the whole afternoon in Bath. Brought him to Bath and we chilled out and we chatted, and he's one of the nicest guys ever. He runs a podcast, for those of you who don't know, with a guy called Joe Polish called I Love Marketing, and it's a really good podcast, and Dean is just a really insightful guy, very humble, very kind, and I'm actually going to an event that he's got next week in London, and really looking forward to learning more from Dean because I've learned so much from him already.
Yeah, he's he is been big in the real estate stuff, and he's someone who you hear a lot of the top marketers talking about Dean and the things he does, and he brought a lot of stuff to the web. From offline to online. And I think he's one of those guys where it's just, to be around people like him, people like Joe, you really just absorb and listen and learn. And you always pick up so much in such a little amount of time, because they've really, over the years discovered it's a formula. And we talk about success leaves clues. And because they've done so much and been through so much, it's kind of like, They really get to the point, they simplify stuff, and it's always eye-opening to be around them. And you always pick little bits up that can definitely, add so much to your business. And, I think it's cool that you met up with Dean. He's definitely someone that I would like to go to one of his workshops in the future here. He's touring a little bit more now, and then they got the iLive marketing event, like you said. So that's really cool, brother.
Yeah, so had a good chat with him, just hung out, and that was just a real highlight of my Sunday. I was actually, because I don't know when you listen to this, guys, but at the moment the World Cup's on, and I was in bed having a bit of a hangover because England had lost, and and it was like, just got myself up and had an awesome day, and it was like completely cleared my hangover. So
yeah, that's awesome. What's funny about it is, so over here in the US, obviously football or soccer is not that big of a deal. And so the World Cup's actually only showing on like ESPN. I don't even know if it's on regular ESPN because I don't have TV at home anymore. I switched over to like Netflix and Amazon so that everything's on demand, because I hate sitting through and having to watch advertisements and all that stuff. So
anyway, when you listen to videos, you like speed them up by 4x, and like I'm there like stood there listening to you, and it's like, it's like, how do you even like your brain process that?
So anyway, so I was like, I want to watch the World Cup, and I needed to do some work, so I didn't want to go out. So I needed to be on the computer. So I was looking for the England game, and for some reason, I have like 3 or 4 free channels, and they're Spanish. And obviously, here in San Diego, we're very close to the border. I'm not quite sure why I pick up Spanish channels for free, but they have the World Cup on because the Mexicans, Mexico, and the Mexicans are very big into soccer. It's a very, huge cultural thing, just like it is in the rest of the world, apart from here in the US. So anyway, so I watched the entire game in Spanish. And the thing is, when you don't understand, that if I left the room, they would get all excited and I'd come running back into the room because I thought maybe we had scored, and only to be disappointed time and time and time again. So it was an interesting experience, and I'll probably be watching all of the games in Spanish unless I can find a place locally to go that has Wi-Fi, so that I can watch the rest of the England games. But in the good news, yesterday obviously the US played and they won, so all the Americans are happy, even though they really have no idea what's going on. So.
Actually, while we can link the World Cup to marketing, there's actually a blog post over at my blog, simonlover.co.uk/blog. And I actually used the World Cup as a great example of when you can actually run a promotion. The World Cup or any kind of timely event is a great, we discussed this in previous episodes, but World Cup was a good reminder that you could run a time sensitive offer, for example, for the length of time that a team stays in, or a challenge during the length of the time of the World Cup, like lose X amount of pounds during in a month. So just get creative with different events that are happening. And I know that you may be listening to this, maybe the World Cup's still on, or maybe you're listening to this in a year's time, but there's always something around the corner. And so creating that calendar for yourself of timely events that are coming up, you can really start to get creative and run some really good promotions, be it for lead generation, be it for new clients, be it for your existing members, to just put something new on their radar.
Absolutely. I think we talked about it on a previous episode, maybe when we did the product we had, when we did the NFL, the Super Bowl promotion. Of course, we just had the NBA playoffs. There's baseball over here. If you're not in the US, obviously there's events like cricket and rugby and the Formula One. There's always something going on, like Simon said, either sports or non-related to sports. There's always other events as well. But it's kind of like a lot of people say, any excuse to party, right? Any excuse to hold a promotion or a sale is a good excuse. You just need, a reason. And people eat it up. They love it, and they love to buy, and they're really motivated. The whole Black Friday thing, which is huge. People go nuts, and then obviously in the UK we have Boxing Day, where the stores open and sell. People go insane to buy stuff at a discount.
Crazy.
Yeah, they go crazy. They go nuts. It's like people lose their mind. Fighting each other and all sorts of stuff for a deal. And really, at the end of the day, most of the time the deal isn't that good. It's not really worth the fight, but it's just people get excited about promotions and deals and specials and things like that. So definitely, I think we could end the episode there. I think that's good, and we'll go on.
See you next time.
See you next time. But for me, it's been awesome. A couple of weeks here. I got blessed. I got nominated to the Fitness Hall of Fame for Trendsetter, under 40 Trendsetter, which is awesome because I'm still 29. So I got 11 years left. I can go at that category every year until I win it. And hopefully I win it this year. I seem to have a lot of support. So
you spend the other 23 hours of the day away from the podcast, like hitting the vote button, right?
Oh, yeah, refresh. No, they probably have something that watches that. So, but I've been rallying the troops, trying to get everyone I know to who feels so inclined to vote for that. But it's really cool just to be nominated. I'm up against some great people. Eric Cressy, Eric is actually a guy when I first got into the industry, Eric was a powerlifter, and he's also had DVDs and products and stuff like that. And I reached out to him, and he switched me on to a guy named Ryan Lee. And I ended up flying out to Boston and staying on Eric's floor and then driving with him over to the Ryan Lee event. So I've known Eric since very early in my career. I would consider him a good friend. I've helped him with launches and things like that in the past. Up against him, he's in the category. He's in a couple of categories, actually. He's such a baller. And then, Brad, I think it's Brad Pilon or Pilon. I'm not quite sure how you pronounce his last name. I apologize for screwing that up, but he's in that group. Dr. John Bernardi's in that group.
And I noticed also that our intro host is in it too. Arnold.
Oh yeah, Arnold's up in there. Even my mentor Louis Simmons in there for innovator and creator. So it's Arnold's on that. Joe Weider's on that. It's quite a awesome thing to just be associated with and to be nominated for. And I feel very lucky to be a part of that. And you know me though, I like to win. And I don't care how tough the competition is. I ain't going to go down without a fight. So, hopefully people out there will vote. And most of you are probably going to listen to this after it ends. I think it ends like June 24th or something like that. So maybe I'll already be the champion by the time you read this. So
you're going to be pumping Facebook ads to that, right?
That's what I was thinking. I was like, how much money do I want to invest in this award? But I'm not quite sure if that's in the spirit of the award, but Anyway, we should probably get into the content before people start tuning out.
So what are we going to be talking about today? Accountability. Really, we want to be talking about what happens, post signing up a client and making sure that we can really serve at the highest level. So that really enhances the business side. We're going to be talking about, the role of a trainer versus a mentor and the differences between those. Why are people really investing in you? Also about proactive versus reactive and what that's all about. Plus, finding out what the real problem is. A lot of the times we take on a client and they're not getting results and we put it down to just the training, but a lot can be happening in the mind and other things. And we really need to step out and be more than just a physical trainer sometimes and get that deeper connection. Coming up with a new plan, we're going to be covering that. And also, sometimes you just have to let go. Sometimes there's those clients that aren't in the right headspace and they can really drain you. And if they drain you, that's going to affect your business. It's going to affect your productivity. And we need to make sure that on a daily basis, we're in the right headspace, to be training the clients that really need to be trained, but also so that we can spend the time outside of training people to build the business, be it marketing, generating leads, bringing on new clients, and really ultimately to get you the life that you want. Because this is about, as much as about helping people, it's about you having the freedom to do what you want to do and go out into this industry and make the most of your skill set.
Yeah. I think this all comes about because we've been talking about the trend in the industry. And a lot of it is, I'll be honest, a lot of it is from online trainers and online nutritionists and people who are taking their business online, which I think is fantastic because, when you get outside the gym and you're no longer chained by those four walls, your ability to help more people is exponential. And the internet is such a powerful tool that we can reach, hundreds of thousands of people, millions of people through the internet. Whereas locally, if we're just doing, trying to, in the community, there's only so many bodies there's only so many hours in a day, so many bodies we can work with. So, I think it's great that people are moving their business online or incorporating online or adding it to what they currently have. But the concern I have is, I've seen this a lot of people sign up, for an online program. And at the end of the day, there's no feeling of accountability from the person who's selling that. And what I mean by that is basically, someone signs up and they're supposed to say check in every week, or they're supposed to follow up and give you their meal plan, so that you adjust it and give them feedback, or they're supposed to tell you how their training's going. Is the strength increasing? What's their weight doing? And clients will simply just fall off and they won't get with you. They don't follow up with you. And it's strange to me because a lot of trainers feel as if it's a client's responsibility in order to do that. And so when they don't reach out and they don't follow up, I see so many people just leaving them be with the thought process of, they'll show back up when they're ready to get started again. And it's really kind of like, it goes back to the big box gyms and really everything we stand against, where we're just selling memberships and we're not really concerned about why we're selling those memberships. And sure, we can sell thousands of people a membership to a gym, knowing that most of them aren't going to show up after the first 7 days, let alone the first 30 days. And so we can just continue to sell and lock them into long-term contracts and all this stuff that we're really against. And it's almost exactly the same when you do that, when you sell someone like a 12-week program or even month to month. and you make them commit for 3 months or 6 months or 12 months. And then, you don't hold them accountable and you don't make them show up and be there. And I think it comes down to like a lot of it is just the trainer feels as if the person should be responsible for their own results. But, we've talked about it before. It's like, well, what is your role as a trainer? Are you a trainer? Are you a mentor? What are your thoughts?
Well, I think one of the most important things which are overlooked a lot of the time is the importance of that initial conversation when a client is taking on and really finding out the true reason of why they're there, as opposed to just losing weight and what's the underlying issue that they have. Because once there's that deeper connection made and we really understand what's driving somebody, then we're going to really know what triggers people and why we need to follow up and why we need to kind of be on people's backs more. And this is a big one. When I chat to Fit Pros on the call, even though they're setting targets for their clients, they don't have their own specific targets. So as much as I can teach the sales and marketing stuff, I've really got to know what's driving them forward in terms of what's their vision of the future. Why are they really motivated? Is it to do with because they really want to get their family into a better house for helping their children? Like, what's the key motivator and driver? Because if you don't understand that for whatever the client target is, whether it's to build muscle because they're not confident, or whether it's to lose fat because they want to feel, happier about the relationship they're in, so that not feeling so self-conscious that their partner's going to leave them, for example. These are key things that we need to know about. But I think a lot of the time the trainer's in such a place where they don't feel that they can delve into that. And I think it's really important to have that confidence to go into that, because it's just a really important part of the initial conversation that can set up the future relationship beyond that. Yeah,
and let's be honest, people aren't investing in us for the health and fitness information that we can give them. What it is that's the vehicle they feel will drive whatever it is in their life they desire. And so we become the expert. We're the expert in that field. We're the expert in getting the body that they want. And they seek us out for that because they believe that will give them something else. And so if we don't understand what that something else is for each individual person, then we can't lead them to where they want to go. When the normal fear and life gets in the way. And we have to understand this. I always tell people this because, I get to travel and teach seminars all over the world, and I get to work with passionate trainers, and it's awesome to see. But what you don't understand as a trainer most of the time, because it's just hard to comprehend because you're so passionate about it, is that the people who seek you out and hire you most of the time don't care about like workout programs. They don't care about nutrition. They don't care about diets. They don't care about, how many sets and reps is optimal. They don't care about what exercises are going to get them. They don't care about any of that. What they care about is the results. They want to feel better. And you're the person that's going to get them those results. And so all the science, all the stuff we love to learn and share and teach and invest in, they don't care about any of that. They show up for whatever it is, commitment that they've committed to you. If it's an hour, they show up to work with you. If you're training online, they commit to going into the gym for whatever time that you program for them. But at the end of the day, they don't think about this stuff and obsess about this stuff like we do. That's our job. Right? What they're doing is they're hiring us to lead them and guide them. And so when we look at being a trainer, really, we're not a trainer to these people. We're the mentor they're investing in to get them what they want in life, with health and fitness generally being the vehicle they think is going to drive that. Right? And so if they want a promotion at work, and they don't feel, they're not confident in themselves, and it's because of the way they look, they may be trying to transform their body to have the confidence so they can get that job. Well, they notice that everyone in the upper level is in fantastic shape and they're not. And so they think, if I get in shape, then I'm going to have that opportunity too. Same as if they don't get the respect from their peers, is it because people look at them and in a sense are a little disgusted, at the way they look and how overweight they are. And so if I get in shape, is it going to give me respect? Am I going to get admiration from other people? Is my wife going to respect me more? Or, if you're out trying to attract another female, what kind of girl can I attract looking like this? And if I change, who can I attract? What kind of guy can I attract? If I change, who can I attract? It's all about that next step for them, and the body and all of that is the beginning phase, and they've hired you to guide them through that phase. And so, you have to understand that even though they do come for us for health and fitness, they do come for us for training and nutrition and these things, it's not really what they're after. Like they want that body, or they want that change. Like they might not be focused on body. It may be strength. They may be really weak and they want to be strong. They may just not be able to, get up and down stairs and they want to feel healthy. So it's not always the image, but you got to understand whatever that is, it's for a bigger reason.
One of the first things when I first started coaching Fitpros on how to build their businesses was, obviously when I first started, the main focus was on, help with the sales and marketing. Once you start coaching and mentoring people, you fast learn that there's much more involved than that. And so for me, like most people think they hire me for the sales and marketing. Actually, it comes down to the mindset, like getting people into the right mindset place. And so, depending on how long you've been in the industry and how many people you worked with, you're going to have a list of things where you know that these are common challenges for people. And even though you may not be qualified to help them, it's really good to start building a bank of people that you can go to draft in to help them. Because I'll tell you this, if you can help someone beyond what they've invested with you and solving. So for example, if someone hires me, like most people come to me and they hire me for the sales and marketing, like how to sell better, how to market better, how to build an online product. But as Tony Robbins says, it's 80% mindset, 20% tactics and strategies. And so if I can get someone into that head in the right place, then that's going to really affect the sales and marketing that they do. All right. Because if the confidence isn't there, if I build someone's confidence, then when they come to market themselves, go out and reach out to local businesses, do all of these things, it all stems from that confidence and that self-belief and self-worth. So if I can start off and build that, then that's going to grow. So you may have clients that I see a lot of trainers just like they come in, they did a session, that's it, they're out, and then there's nothing else that's touched on. And there's all these things that are going on in this person's lives that you can be the person that really helps them to piece everything together, apart from just the nutrition and the training. And a lot of trainers just do the fitness side without the nutrition, and then some trainers do nutrition and some do the mindset. Some are qualified in NLP and other things. So really just becoming more than that exercise coach is just a great place to be, so that they feel that you're much more than that. And then you're going to be paid more, which is great because you can you can get better results, you can get quicker results, and you can position yourself very differently in the marketplace.
Yeah, and what's funny is there's always going to be a place for every type of trainer and every type of program and all of that, because people are on different phases of their journey. But, wouldn't it be nice if you were the guy that people went to and it was the last person they went to ever for help with this? Wouldn't it be nice if you were the trainer who actually got them the results they wanted, and they never had to go to anyone else again? They never had to buy another book, another diet product, another recipe, healthy recipe thing, because you're the one who finally got them to where they wanted to be. And, that goes beyond what you do with that person. That creates a ripple effect that goes through centuries, and it's passed down from parent to child to grandkids. Because let's say the person is on a fast track to having a heart attack by the time they're 40 or 50, and you're the one who finally pulls them from that hell and shows them how to be healthy, just think of what that does for their family. Just think of what that does. And so
think about the referrals.
Too. Right. But if you think about what you're doing and how you're transforming them, and we touched on this on how to charge higher prices in terms of understanding the value you're bringing to someone. If you get to that point where what you're doing is beyond you and it goes beyond you and that client, then being a trainer versus being a mentor is not a question of, can I do it? It's a question of I have to. There's no way. There's no other way. And so when we look at why are people really investing in you? It's because they don't know what to do themselves, and they want your help. And so when they disappear or they don't show up, or life gets in the way, for you to be upset with them or for you to feel as if it's their problem and their fault really is ridiculous, because the reason they hired you in the first place is because they know they're going to fail on their own, and that's why they're investing in you, because they've probably failed before on their own. They've probably failed multiple times. And so that, you have to take that responsibility on. And that's, proactive versus reactive. What are you doing weekly so this just doesn't happen, versus waiting for them not to show up? What are you doing weekly? What are you doing consistently so that never is an issue? So you never have to chase anyone down.
And the good thing to do is to have systems in place. For example, if you're not getting clients show up, part of your system is broken. For example, when I first started as a trainer, I had clients that decided not to turn up for their sessions, and then I didn't get paid. Now, that's not fair on me because I can't fill that slot at short notice. So that was just a system problem. So what happened was I just implemented a new system where at the point of sale where they signed up, I just said, I hope you appreciate it. I'm running a business, and if you can't turn up to a session, then I'll need 24 hours notice. Otherwise, you'll lose the session. Does that sound fair? And just having that initial conversation in the point of sale, it earned me a lot of revenue from those that did have problems and were willing to pay for the session, but also it massively reduced the amount of people that weren't willing to turn up. Now that can be one part. Another system could be that you implement a reminder system in place. I have systems in place with my assistant with follow-ups for those that want to jump on a call with me. I've got systems in different parts of my business. So what you need to do is really sit down and go, what's happening on a regular basis that's frustrating me and a frustration for my clients and affecting my clients' results? And what can I do and implement that will stop this or improve a process that I have that's existing?
Right. It's funny you talk about systems, but I think what it comes down to too, and you mentioned it, is the agreements between you, the expectations and the agreements. And if you set those from the very beginning and you have a clear understanding of what they expect of you and they have a clear understanding of what you expect from them, a lot of this is resolving issues before they ever happen. And you always have that to go back to, and you always have that to remind them, of what they agreed to. And I think that, when someone falls off, a lot of the times it's not their necessary conscious choice, right? And the problem is something else that's going on that puts them back in that mindset they were in before they hired you. And I'll be honest, I think a lot of people end up being embarrassed. I think a lot of people end up feeling as if they, can't reach out to you because you're going to be disappointed in them. And you know what it's like. The worst thing you can do is disappoint someone else. And I think that people, when they invest in you, they put you in this pedestal as if, like you're the person they want to be, or you're the person who's going to lead them to the Holy Land. And when they screw up and they know they screwed up, and let's say they just get off their meal plan for like a whole day or 2 days, they're terrified to reach out to you, and they try to fix it on their own, because they want to make you proud. They don't want to disappoint you. And so, we have to figure out, what happened. And then we have to remind them, really, at the end of the day, you're just one meal from getting back on your plan. You're just one workout from being back on your plan. It's not that big of a deal. It's okay. And that's where we come in to just, let them know that you're there to help. That's why they brought you in. And you're the one who you're going to help. And you're not going to let them you're not going to let them off the hook. And you're not going to, let them disappear. You're there for them, and remind them again what we talked about, the agreement. What did you agree upon? What was it they wanted to get, and what was it you said you would do for them? And then, boom, we're back on track. And I think that that's so important. And I think, the systems with agreements, all of those things, it makes this whole situation very easy to handle, because we see so many times, and I know you've experienced it, Simon, personally with your business. I've experienced it with my business, with the owners and the studio owners you work with, trainers and coaches, et cetera, that I work with. We see this a lot. When you wait for something to happen and then try to address it, it's so hard because you just don't have anything in place to go back on and to remind them of, look, this is why you came to me. This is what we agreed upon. And so then you're in that reactive, and you're trying to get them to see the light, but their headspace is just not where it needs to be. And so, a lot of times it's like butting heads, because they're just not in that mindset that they were in when they made that commitment to you.
Yeah, I think another thing is being willing to have that uncomfortable conversation if you need to, and actually, open up in a conversation and say, what's really going on, what's happening, and and generating that rapport so that they can really open up to you and tell you what the real issue is, because you don't know the things that are going on, and not a lot of people like to say. So yeah, I think just growing sometimes and actually being willing to say, look, can we just have an open and honest conversation? I've had a lot of clients who have had issues with their clients, and I've just told them that you need to have a sit down and honest conversation. And actually, normally the fear is worse than the reality, because actually what happens is people really open up, you get a much deeper connection, and they're really thankful for it because people aren't willing to do it. So the thing that's most uncomfortable is probably the thing that you need to do the most.
Right. What I think what you said, being uncomfortable, comes down to a lot of times you got to remove your ego, right? You've got to understand that it's not about you whatsoever. You got to let go of that. You got to let go of if they're coming at you aggressively or they're angry at you because, what you said is not working. And, you have no idea if they're actually following your plan. You have no idea. So a lot of people take it so personal and they get so hurt by it that they react and respond in a negative way. And that causes more friction. And so you have to be able to remove yourself, to have that tough conversation, but not in a sense that you're blaming, accusing, but you're coming from that mental role and you're trying to figure out what's going on. Why is this person reacting like that? And I think that when you get through that and you get through that tough conversation, like you said, people tend to open up. They tend to share more with you. And then it gives you the ability to come up with that new plan. And the new plan might not be different than what it was, but it may be a new plan for accountability. Maybe they text you a picture of every meal they have to eat during the day so that they're on track, right? Maybe they have to tell you when they're going to go to the gym, and you text them, and they're supposed to go to the gym every day at 5:00. And then at 6:00, you text them and say, hey, how was your workout? And so the new plan may just be to keep them accountable, may just be to keep them on track. But you can't get to that until you figure out what went on, what happened. And you can only get to that when you remove yourself. You got to understand it's got nothing to do with you. These people are, most of the time, it had nothing to do with you before they hired you, and it still has nothing to do with you now that they've hired you. It's just old habits. It's old things that creep up. It's, old emotions, old relationships that cause problems, that then come out in their plan because, they're so used to abusing their body, poisoning their body, eating things for comfort and all of this different stuff that they go right back into that when they're sucked into that old lifestyle. And so it's got nothing to do with us. And if you can remember that and you can really keep your head completely emotionless, then that is a powerful place to be in, but it's also a place of leadership, and it's a place that will make that person step out of where they're at and kind of open up, like you said, and share with you what's going on. And now you've got to the root of the problem. You can fix it. You can move on. You can quickly get them back on track. And again, you talked about it earlier about referrals, and we had a whole episode on that, but you think about the referrals you're going to get if you can bring someone out. Not only, the excitement at the beginning when they hire you, but they got off track and you pulled them right back in. You got them back on place. You know what they're going to tell people? This guy really cares. This girl really cares. That is a referral that is going to send a lot of people to you.
Yeah. I mean, when I take on clients, like I literally, I don't set time frames. Like if I'm on Facebook at midnight and someone posts in my group and I can answer a question, I'm going to go out of my way to do the things to get my clients the results, and I'm very compassionate. And I think that I'm probably, in my opinion, I'm one of the best at doing that. And I think that if you can separate yourselves by doing what other people aren't willing to do, you're really gonna transform your business. Because people, like Adrian says, people really appreciate it of going the extra mile. Just make a list of the things that you could do that could make you completely different from your competitors. Like maybe, I get my clients sending a gift out like within a week of them signing up, and just little things to pull them back on track. Maybe you find out something that someone really likes. Another thing, a key thing too, is understanding what state your clients are in on a daily basis and what really triggers them. So, ask them a good question to ask them, which is changing their state is, when is it? Tell me a time when you felt most happy. Tell me a time when you felt most confident, and really find out what triggers them. And then you can use that in the future to bring them back on track, to quickly change their state. Because I guarantee if they don't turn up to a session or they're not doing what you want them to do, then it's because they're in a something's triggered them. Someone said something to them at work, a partner's changed their state, something's happened in the family, and it's all about how quickly you can bring their state back into the place to start training again, because everyone is different. For example, if you, for example, are listening to this and you know that, constantly you're on a wave of like up and down, and one day you find yourself motivated, one day you don't, the time in which you can pick yourself back up again, and the quicker you can do that, the quicker your business is going to build, right? Because you're not going to do it when you're in a state of depression and feeling bad about, maybe you've got money struggles. So the quicker you can bring yourself back, the quicker you're going to get your business back on track. And so if I know what specifically triggers you to bring your state back into a positive one, then you're going to get back on track quicker. So you need to know individually for your clients what gets them back on track quickly. And it might be some type of motivation. It might be a trigger word. It might be an anchor. It might be something else. But it really gives you a lot of power, because not many people know that. The state in which they go into in a session, for example, I'm sure you've had it. You've had people turn up to a session and they've just not been the same because they've got something on their mind. You changing their state before they go into the session is radically going to improve the performance in their session, the happiness when they leave the session. And so the state that you're in and the state which your client is in is key. Because if you go into the session in a bad state, i.e. something's bad has happened, right, and you've had another trainer tell you something and it's knocked you off track, your ability to get back on state is going to affect the session. At the same time, the state in which the client is in that comes to you, that affects it. So you both need to be in the right state before you go into a session. And I know we're going off on a bit of a tangent here, but it's something that I learned recently, which is key, and it's really helped me. But allowing yourself to know what brings you back on track and what brings your clients back on track is going to really change that relationship. Because you know that when they step in the door and they're feeling, if the client knows that even when they're feeling down, they can come into a session with you and you can change them in an instant. That is what's going to reduce them not turning up because they feel that that's not going to happen.
Exactly. I think you just drop the mic and exit.
Was that a good one? I thought that was a good one.
Yeah. I think the thing is we both care a lot about the people we work with, the people we help. Like we really do. And a lot of times it's hard not to take things personal. But like you said, if you can be the person who is always in a good mood, is always there for them, then they're going to show up in that same, way with you, regardless of what's going on. And so if they know that when they show up to the session, or if they call you or text you, or, you're going to show up in that way, then they're going to want to be around you. That energy is attractive, and they're going to want more and more and more of it. And that's going to lead them to getting the results. And then, of course, that's going to build your business. And that's what it comes down to. We talk so often about getting results for the clients. And that's why this was such an important topic, I think, to discuss. But let's be honest here. Let's kind of switch gears here, because I think that a lesson we've learned, both of us, sometimes the hard way, is that at the end of the day, there are people that you just have to let go. There are people who you just have to leave be, and who, for some reason, whatever it is, it's out of your control. But their mindset shifts to a place where I don't know what it is, but they lose all confidence in themselves. And instead of admitting that and admitting that they just want to shift the blame. And no matter what you say or what you offer them, or what great plan you can come up with, in their mind, you're the reason that whatever happened. And there's just no way around that. And it's painful because, you can help that person, but sometimes you just got to let go.
It can be down to the initial conversation that you have. It can be that, you were in a place where you really needed the money, and you just took them on. It can be because of lots of different things. But, it's very important that, if you're consistent with results and you know that you're a good trainer, and you've gotten results for yourself, okay, it's very important that you don't let one or two clients start changing your state, going back to what I was saying earlier, and putting you into a negative mindset of self-doubt that you're not a good trainer. Because you have to understand is that people have issues. They have stuff going on that you don't know about, and people will shift the blame because it's much easier to point the finger than actually take responsibility. And, can we do things? We can do things to try and help them. And if you feel that you've done what you can, then you may find yourself draining yourself over a period of time to try and save somebody where actually they need to save themselves first.
Yeah, exactly. And, at that point, you have to make that decision. It doesn't mean you have to stop helping that person or, randomly reaching out and seeing how they're doing. But you at some point, you have to stop pushing and you have to just wait until they're ready, and they'll come around. And unfortunately, it may not be in the time frame that we hope. It may take years for them to come around, but eventually they'll come around. And they may never admit it to you again out of embarrassment. But at some point, everything's going to break, and they're going to realize it. So just have that, understanding that sometimes you're not able to help everybody because for whatever reason it is, it's got nothing to do with you again. But they just switch into this blame mode. Everyone else is against me. You are the worst of it because they're whoever it is they trusted in the most becomes the worst because, you're the problem and you made me do this and I didn't want to do that or whatever it is. But, these people just, if you don't let them go, you're just carrying that stress and that baggage and that weight on you. And, it's going to affect how you show up for your other clients. And you got to understand that they need you more because they are present. They do want your help. And you've got to give them, they deserve that. So you can't let that one person kind of poison or bring any toxic energy into the others. And you got to let that go, and you just got to be able to let it go, and move on.
Let it go and move on. So I think that pretty much covers everything for that. I think it's a good, short, punchy, useful, passionate podcast.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, it's just
no, we gotta wrap up with our other bits and pieces. So we have a well, first of all, if you enjoyed the podcast, as always, we would love to get your opinion. Head to iTunes, give us a review, 5-star review. Obviously, we'd love it. But seriously, we want to connect with you. So head to facebook.com/boylovell, BOYLOVELL, and just introduce yourself and say, hi, love the podcast. Or go to facebook.com/AJ Roberts. You can connect with him and send him some abuse. Would be awesome on my behalf. Otherwise, head to thefitpreneurs.com, the Facebook page, all the social media stuff, and just, if you've got any questions, post on there. We'd love to answer your questions on the podcast and move you guys forward in whatever respect that may be. Maybe it's a kick up the bum. Maybe it's reading out your random success story. Or maybe like this one, it's a question which has come from David and Tom from the UK of England. What are you laughing at, AJ?
Just the way you say stuff sometimes. Making fun of your accent.
What are you talking about? You're from here. So David and Tom say, Dear Simon and AJ, can you please have your views? No. Okay, no, seriously. So we will be opening a PT studio in January in England, and we are planning everything to hit the ground running. What are your thoughts, and what should we have in place to begin making an income from the minute go? We have built a website at www.kvfitnesssystems.co.uk. I've not even seen this site yet, so I think we're going to do something live now. We're both going to go and look at it and see what we think. And we've begun a daily blog using social media so far. Thank you, David and Tom. AJ, let's head to this site and let's give our opinion. Well, first of all, before...
Well, you head there. I'm going to say something right away here that I think is so important. So the two glaring things that stick out to me is, number one, they're not going to open their studio until January, all right? And so we're in the middle of the year right now. It's June. That's 6 months away. And then they'd say, what should we be doing to have a place to make income the minute from go? I tell you what you should do. You should start now. Like, you don't need a studio. You don't need a facility. You don't need to start helping people. You can start right now and start building your clientele and building your base. And, when you come and you go to open your studio, you're going to already have a following. You're already going to have all of those things. And so, if you go back and listen to any of the episodes, creating, positioning in the marketplace and referrals and the referral, we need to turn the referral episode into an ebook and build that out, because like we covered so much amazing stuff in that. But literally, by the time you open your studio come January, you could have a full clientele where you already have a waiting list, and you can red rope your facility and have higher prices, waiting list, all of that stuff. If you get started now, if you wait until January, that's 6 months of just wasted time. Right. And building buzz that it's not people want to get in shape now. People who want help, they want it now. They don't want to wait 6 months. There's no, coming soon, in 6 months we'll help you get in shape. No, start now. And maybe you are. So I apologize if you are.
I think they are already.
But I think that, it's great that you're opening a place, but put everything in place so that, like you say, when you open the doors, you're already full. That would be my goal. Like if I was you guys, I would set the goal to be that the minute you open, you're already full.
Yeah. And I think a great way to do that, just looking at the website, is, guys, you need to start building your email list and start to build value and trust and start priming people for the opening of that. And so, you can run Facebook traffic. You start to build your email list out of local businesses. You can start to build your email list out of targeted traffic via Facebook groups, lots of different things there. And at the moment, your website, it's a great, I recognize this theme. And it's actually a good website. It looks good, but you need some lead generation on there. Who's your specific target market? Who are you going for? What's the way for you to grab a name and email address on there so that you can start building value and trust? Because at the moment, it's just a brochure. And although you've got a video library and stuff on there, you're going to be much better by actually using that to grab a name and email address. And you might be doing all that already using lead pages and stuff like that. But right now, the website needs to be a lead generation machine.
Exactly. I think the other thing I'm going to want to point out is you need to focus on being, if you want a local business, you need to focus on being famous locally. So it's the hardest thing to do is if you can be world renowned, and yet in your own town, people just don't even seek you out. And I experienced that when I was at Westside Barbell, strongest gym in the world, produced the most world record holders, world champions, time and time again. And yet, local places wouldn't even come to us for help because there's just something about, if it's in your backyard, it can't be as good as everyone says it is. And it's just a strange phenomenon. But also when you don't focus on building the following locally, then you don't have the same buzz as you do maybe, online or internationally and all of that fun stuff. So, looking at the website just briefly, Simon brought up a good point, but I don't know where you guys are. Obviously, if I recognize the phone number, I would. I don't know where you guys are located. I see something for virtual training versus, local. What I would be doing is I would be spending and investing time locally, going and giving presentations and workshops and all this stuff, and build your following locally, build your tribe locally. And then, use that, expand online, use the results you get locally to expand online, all that fun stuff. And if you have, virtual results already, bring that in and use that to build the local business. When you're doing your seminars or your workshops and things like that, use those results on images that people can look at and future pace, getting the same results and all that fun stuff. But, get started now. Really, if you're building a local business, focus local. And then expand online with those results versus trying to build online and then focus local. I know lots of fitness professionals who I consider, some of the world's best, and in their own town, they can go anywhere and no one recognizes them. No one knows who they are. No one's seeking them out for their advice because they don't focus on it. So as you are opening a studio, and that is, it seems to be, that's a big decision, obviously. I would really start investing now and figuring out how can you get on local TV? How can you get into local businesses to run lunchtime workshops, or how can you put on Saturday workshops? Is there a facility that you can rent out that allows you to bring people in? How could you start working with people now, in home training, boot camps, whatever it is? Just start to figure out a plan. And like I said, you guys are probably doing some of this already, but I think if you do that, like if you start now and start focusing now, like when you open the studio, it's just going to be boom. Doors are open, full. Sorry, we have a wait list. Second studio is open within the next 6 months. For once, I thought we were going to get through an episode without you
making a noise,
randomly making some strange noise.
It's like me today.
it's like
go on.
No, it's like you just can't make it. You
No,
just can't
I
be
can't.
serious
I've
for
got to
that
do a
long.
dog bark. I've got to do a chimp noise. I've got to blow raspberries. Something I would say about the virtual PT tab, lads, is I would get the prices off there. Well, first of all, they're way too cheap, and I would actually just close those on a call. Much better way to go. AJ, you just got me thinking about the next episode. Should we do press and PR, or should we do like a marketing brainstorm of just like loads of different marketing ideas? What do you reckon?
I think a random marketing, just whatever it is.
Great. Or we can just do an episode where we just brainstorm loads of marketing ideas and the guys can just like listen to them and just go, I'll do that
We'll
one.
call
That'd
it
be
golden
awesome.
nuggets. Just because I like saying the word
That
nuggets.
sounds okay. Cool. Chicken nuggets. Let's move. This is going downhill fast. So the weekly challenge, guys, is because we've been talking about accountability. The challenge is I want you to call or text every single client with something that they just wouldn't expect. Maybe it's a picture on your phone that you found that's a motivational quote or something that's useful. Maybe you just phone them up to say, look, I just really want to connect and just find out if there's anything else I can help you with beyond the training that we're doing. Just whatever that is. And just, I guarantee you're going to get a really, really good reaction from that. So do that, implement that, and make that your challenge for the week. The quote is from Willard Scott, and it is: positive feelings come from being honest about yourself and accepting your personality and physical characteristics, warts and all, and from belonging to a family that accepts you without question.
Yeah, I can see why you like
that.
it, when you're that ugly, you got to find things. And I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You know, I love you. No, I think that this is a big thing. Me and you are into a lot of self-help, self-discovery, self-love. I think that's what this comes down to. It's really about self-love and not relying on other people to love yourself, and you have to show up as that person. You have to accept who you are. You have to understand who you are. You have to understand that you are what you are. And then when you show up as that person, you vibrate on a different energy level. Your confidence, all of that stuff comes from that. And if you're not happy with who you are, the beautiful thing is it just makes the decision to change that in terms of attitude, in terms of physical, appearance, in terms of, habits and all those things. And so, accepting yourself, if you're not in a place where you can accept yourself, then you need to just make the decisions to move forward, and get to that place where you can love yourself, you can accept yourself. And then you're part of, you'll attract those people and attract a family, attract relationships, and attract friends who accept you for exactly who you are. And, I think that just propels you forward in life. I think it's such an important thing, to be.
Yeah, I agree. And I think a lot of the time, trainers are very confident when it comes to training people, but when they get off of the gym floor, like there's the lack of confidence in building the business, lacking confidence in other areas. And that's something I really love helping trainers with, because once the confidence grows, everything else starts to click into place. And it's almost like the Mummy Returns, when it all goes click, 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 click. And then suddenly there's an explosion or something cool. On that,
I think we should quit while we're ahead. We'll wrap this up as our shortest episode ever, even though it's still like almost an hour. But what do you think?
I'm happy to.
Cool. All right. Like Simon mentioned earlier, head over to iTunes, leave us a review, 5 stars if you would feel so inclined. If not, let us know. If your feedback is valuable to us, we do really try to listen to our listeners and improve the show. At the end of the day, we're going to say whatever we want because we just don't care, and we feel as if what we have to share is too important to worry about a few people's opinions if they're not fans. But we do value your feedback, and we do take a look at it and discuss that.
We even had feedback from a dog owner who ran a dog business, and he said he was loving the episode. And we also had a comment from Pete Bennett, and he was like, "I'm not even in fitness, and I love your podcast." He runs a really
successful language translation company, and
high five to you, Pete, because thank you for
Yeah,
that. It made my
what's
day.
cool, I think, is just the things we're sharing, and we both have experiences outside the fitness industry with other businesses, and the things we're sharing are really universal. No one's business is unique, no one is a unique snowflake. So we're able to bring in the things we've seen outside the industry back into the industry with real world experience and multiple business, not just the fitness industry, and that's what I think it makes it a little bit more powerful. And I think we really believe in what we're doing because of that, because we know how powerful this is for anyone and everyone. And, we're passionate about fitness, helping fitness professionals. So this is where we feel called, and this is what we love to talk about and do. But, anyone who's listening that isn't in the fitness industry, we thank you, and we really do appreciate it. And we hope that you are getting a lot out of these shows, and continue to listen.
Definitely. Head over to also our individual websites too, simonlovell.co.uk. If you feel like I'm a freak and you like to connect with me,
you want to get
to the web. Head to simonlovell.co.uk or just connect to me via Facebook and go, God, you are so cool as a freak. Or AJ, ajroberts.com/ facebook.com/AJ And my parting words are,
I really don't think anyone's left. I think they probably checked out long ago. So we could edit and just keep going. But let's for the one listener that somehow forgot to turn off about 20 minutes ago when we were done with the content, thank you, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Guys, thanks for the killer episode. Listen, if you want to take your fitness business to the next level, terminate your competition, create ultimate freedom, buy new houses, cars, which could blow up, travel the world, or open your own gym where you can lift really heavy weights, then head to www.thefitpreneurs.com/free call for details on how to apply for your free accelerator call. Until the next episode, hasta la vista, Fit Pros. Fit Pros. Fit Pros. Fit Pros. Fit Pros. Fit Pros.